The AA is warning that a crisis looms with the deadline for the renewing of driving licenses ending today, that is the 31st of March 2022. It's appealing to Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula to reconsider government's current position, which is the refusal to extend the deadline. This is despite the fact that there have been problems in producing driving license cards, as well as issues with the online booking system. And in the meantime, there are hundreds of thousands of motorists that have yet to apply for the replacement driver's licenses. Well, to discuss this further, I'm joined by Layton Baird. He's a spokesperson at AA. Thank you very much, Layton, for joining us. So can we expect that hundreds and thousands of motorists are now going to suddenly be subjected to fines because, of course, their driving licenses are out of date?
Well, I think, yes, if you consider that many people can't renew these documents and are going to be forced to be on the roads because they need to use their vehicles, I think logically it stands to reason that unfortunately people will take a chance and drive without those documents. So there is a very high probability that given that situation, there will be a massive spike in the number of fines that are issued in the next couple of weeks and months to people who don't have legal driving licenses. In most cases, we believe through no fault of their own, simply because the system is working against them.
Yeah, but the government has a response to that, which is they gave us the notice some 6 months ago. They feel that they gave plenty of notice, and therefore no one can say that they didn't know. What's your response to that?
Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, we are entitled as South Africans, and I use that word very purposefully. We are entitled as South Africans to get a service that is efficient and easy. And it's government's responsibility to provide that framework, to give the systems and to give the structure that makes it easy for South Africans to renew these driving license cards and other services as well. And we deserve that. And I think we want to see that happen. In the absence of that happening, a 6-month period is not going to be enough, especially considering the issues that we've seen. And what invariably happens is that people do try very hard to get these bookings done, or to go stand in queues, or to get these documents through the legal channels, but are scuppered maybe once or twice or 3 times. And then at that point, really throw in the towel to an extent and say, well, I'll try next week, or I'll try the week after that, and then experience the same problems. And that, I think, is where the problem is. The framework and the structure that government needs to create for the majority of people throughout the country is not always there. And for that reason, we think that government needs to be fair and to extend the deadline so that the majority of people who still have outstanding renewals can actually get them before that deadline is in.
Yeah. If government does stick to its guns, what is this going to mean from an insurance point of view then?
Well, I don't speak for the insurance industry, but, if you're involved in an incident or a crash in your vehicle that is insured and you don't have a valid driving license, there is a possibility that your insurer may look at you and say, well, we have a bit of an issue here. So our advice is that if you are insured and you do have an expired driving license card, that you engage and interact with your insurer and explain that situation to them and get some direction and guidance from them on how you should proceed. The issue is to what extent have you tried to renew this license? Do you have proof of the attempts that you've made? That may be something that they ask for. But yes, I think as we said yesterday, if the deadline is not extended, there may very well be a crisis that's looming in terms of people on our roads without the requisite documents.
Layton, another point of interest for South African consumers and motorists at large is the whole issue of the fuel price. We're learning that the Finance Minister, Enoch Godongwana, is likely to make an emergency fuel price intervention announcement this afternoon in Parliament. And we know you've been agitating for that. What are you hoping for?
Yeah, I don't want to say what I'm hoping for because I'm going to stick my stake in the ground and, I'm going to be proven wrong. But look, I think any relief at this stage is going to be welcome. South Africa, along with many, many other countries in the world, is experiencing record high fuel prices. I think we are encouraged by the fact that government is looking at mitigating the April increase. We obviously would like to look a little further than that because we need to see what the situation is going to look like in April, going into May and into June. But yes, I think certainly very encouraging that the minister is going to make an announcement. What that announcement is, we don't know. We will obviously, watch with keen interest exactly what those measures are. At the moment, we're looking at quite significant fuel increases across the board to petrol, to diesel, and to illuminating paraffin. So I think any assistance the government can give to consumers in this very difficult time and in this very tough economic climate is certainly going to be welcome. But let me just temper that by saying an increase we are going to get. I think it's just now the quantum of that increase that is going to be different.
Yeah, and roughly where does that stand at the moment? I know that the AA did put out something a week or so ago, but what are we expecting for the three main categories?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a pretty picture. And mind you, this is based on unaudited data from the Central Energy Fund and is before the minister's announcement. But we're looking at around about R1 for petrol, around about R3, give or take, for diesel, and around about R3 for illuminating paraffin. Those are all increases. So some heavy numbers there. And again, I think, government's intervention in terms of providing relief is certainly something that we would like to see, the details of, and how that's all going to play out and what the ramifications of that relief is going to be. So I think a very important announcement that the minister is going to be making around 4 o'clock this afternoon.
You're right. Not a pretty picture you're painting there for us. Thanks very much, Layton, for your time there. Layton Baird, he's the spokesperson at the Automobile Association.